My friends, today's video is a diorama again. It took me a while since my last upload, because I started 4 projects and just finished 2 of them. The other 2 will take longer. I hopefully manage to pump them out in like the next weeks. Not really sure, but let's just say one is another ship and it's not Yamato in the bigger scale. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump straight into the building process, because I made a little error by first editing this video and now have to do it all over again. Lovely Sunday. The kit is a Revell kit that I have bought almost 6 years ago, when I turned 18. Time flies by, doesn't it? And it's 1 to 1200 scale. It is not great. If you find it someday somewhere on eBay, buy it for the nice box art. But later on I will touch another issue I had with this kit. But the fitting was awful. I had to use the Dremel, and I did have to cut some connector pins short just to make it look, well, somewhat acceptable. The deck was painted with XF55 deck 10 from Tamiya, a solid paint for, well, wooden decks. You could throw a brown panel liner onto it, but I let it be. I like my ships and what it's clean, you know. And we did encounter some fitting issues with the bridge, as I can say here. Those were acceptable for the scale, but one big issue was that I had to scratch build something. And the thing I had to scratch build was the iconic mast of the Yamato. It isn't included in the kit. It is shown on the box art, yes, but it isn't included. It isn't even shown on the instructions, and I don't know about you, but in 1 to 1200 scale, this is a part that is possible to make. I mean, when Gneisenau and the Tirpitz and Bismarck from Revell and the Shanos, which is the same Gneiser kit, but when they can have their masts on the back of the ship, why can't Yamato have it? Funny enough, this kit was released as Musashi, and I have it as well, and there's also no mast. So you have to scratch build them. I think I did a great job on the scratch building though, for this scale, but yeah, that's pretty annoying. That's why I would say just get 1 to 700 scale. I have to mention here that the turrets were included in place weren't modified. I know in the Gneisenau video I did modify the front turrets to actually be in shooting position, but I didn't thought it fit for the Yamato. I didn't want to do it again, and honestly, I wanted to depict her on her last journey before the attack, and not during the attack or during later or whatever. And that's why I've went with the normal turrets and no modifications. I did modify the ship though with the scratch pit mast and with some rigging later on. And to be honest, the rigging was annoying. Later in the video I will speak a bit more about it, but yeah, it's something I should stick to for larger scale kits where I can actually work around and not break something or not get really in the way of the former rigging. I mean, yes, when you do rigging you will get in the way somehow, but larger scales you have more millimeters to fit around than with this scale. Does this make sense? I hope so. Here you can see, during my attempt to glue on a flag that I stole from another Japanese ship I have, that I did some rigging on the bridge and around the ship. It is not the best job, I have to admit it. Yes, it looks good from, you know, a viewer's perspective, seeing a tiny ship with such somehow added details, but it's not the best job. The main lines from the front to the bridge and from the back to the mast, they are upper scale, or at least one is band, the other one isn't. And yeah, that's an issue I had with this. Honestly, PE parts and rigging, they are not for me. I have 15 to 20% eyesight left. I have a heavy disability on my eyes, and I like building models. I can see those tiny parts when I'm, taking my time and focus and technically lay my head onto the workbench so I can see stuff that's, all the stuff that you don't see in my videos because I cut that out. But yeah, rigging is really my arch nemesis in this hobby. One day I hope I can have a ship with perfect 100% finished rigging, but most times I cut the rigging short. I do have my 1/350 scale Bismarck, which has nice rigging. I do have an H-class super battleship from the Third Reich, from Tirpitz, which I hope to build in the future, maybe at the end of the year or at the start of next year, where I will also try adding rigging, but that's just some, future thoughts of mine, and hopefully I can manage the rigging and not just, go like, screw this, I'm gonna go home, I don't do rigging. Now let's talk a bit about the diorama. I used my good old friend and partner in crime during multiple breakfast crimes in the great state of Iowa, tinfoil. Tinfoil is great when you crumble it to a ball and press it down to a ball and then just, try to pull off some sheets, then you have a perfect ocean, foundation, so to say. Yeah, you just get a perfect ocean. After that, I just put some white glue on with my fingers, so only the more pronounced parts that are going to be waves are coming out, and also that the paint will stick better. The thing is here, after this dries, you have a completely clear glue and you just see the tinfoil. And then we can start the painting process, and that's where the magic happens. The base layer is XF17 sea blue. It is a very dark blue skin, has light tint when angled perfectly or sprayed very thin. And yeah, that's our foundation. After that I hit it with XF8 flat blue, and this is only for highlighting, like the big waves that are about to break or stuff. And then we just go over it with some X23 clear blue, which gives us this glossy finish that we want to achieve, making the ocean pop, making it look like an actual piece of ocean frozen in time, cut out, dust it off a bit, maybe shrink down a bit, where we can put our little model in. This is my favorite method of painting, and I'm very happy when I decide to build a ship diorama that I can use it. And after it's dried, you're left with the following result. And now we hit it with some Corex Rite and the smallest paintbrush that we can find on our workbench. This is to make all those tiny little waves pop, breaking them, making the white foam when a wave breaks. And Corex Rite is a great color because it's thin, but it has also a great coverage. It's a Citadel color. I really love Citadel colors, especially since I started painting a Warhammer army, which isn't finished but will get its own video in the future. And yeah, it just makes the waves pop, and since it's thin, it only touches it only settles down where the paintbrush touches. It doesn't move into, like every little bump that we have, little holes. It only hits where the paint touches. Unlike Tamiya color, which I used before, which is so thick that when you touch down, the color wants to go anywhere in every little hole and stuff that we don't want it to. After this has dried, we glue the ship down, and when the ship is in place and it's semi-dried, we are going to make the big waves that break upon the ships. And for that I just use some glue and some cotton. Tearing the cotton apart, pushing it down, like really into the little space between ocean and ship. And then we just have the ship making its way through the ocean with the big waves branching onto the side and the smaller waves around it. After that was all set and dry, I called it good. And there we have it, 1 to 1200 scale Yamato. First of all, I only recommend this kit for someone looking for a little challenge. Otherwise, yeah, just skip it. Just get a 700 scale Yamato or 450 scale or a 350 scale or 1 to 200 scale if you really want a big Yamato in your house. If you want a small Yamato, just buy the Musashi from Revell. They're the same kits. You have the options for the earlier turrets without AA or the late turrets with AA. But that's up to you. I have to mention here, I'm sure I did a good job on the rigging, but there's still room for improvement. I love how the ship turned out. Friends, family, and the Sabatons subreddit were loving this ship. And yes, I did mention the Sabatons subreddit now, because when the song Yamato came out, I was like, or was announced, I was like, hey, I have a Yamato. I have a small Yamato, I can finish that. And luckily enough, the song is out for 2 to 3 weeks now, and I didn't manage to have the video ready. This build alone cost me 2.5 weeks. I mean, you only saw like, what was it, 6 minutes of building and painting, but 2.5 weeks. From letting everything dry to overthinking some decisions for having an entire weekend for the rigging on this scale. I also had to order rigging line, I didn't have any left from former projects. But yeah, I'm happy that I built it. I love the new song from Sabaton, and yeah, you can imagine that this song played 24/7 while building the ship. And well, that's everything said about this little build. I know I haven't uploaded for a while now, like over a month. Next week, the next video is coming online, and then hopefully, and the week after, I can present another video. Either another little project, just to save me some time from finishing bigger projects that I have, or the big project. Who knows? Anyways, I also launched a Discord, link is down in the description if you want to join. Currently, I don't have any members on it. And yeah, after everything said now, I can only say thank you for watching, and until the next time, have a very nice rest of your day. Bye bye.